The following is a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to week one of the Pro Chess League. I am here in St. Louis, where we are going to be having a very exciting match that has actually just started already, and we're going to be jumping into it. We're going to be giving you all the details, but first, I do want to introduce you to our captain. Captain Nemo will be here with us, helping us discuss the games today that have just started. Nemo, it's great to be with you.
Jonathan, I really appreciate you guys having me as the captain for the St. Louis Archbishops. I hope these will be really exciting. The games have already started. And as a reminder to everybody, we are on a 1-minute delay, so if we don't respond or if we don't see your message immediately, it is because of that. We have access to all of the pro video cameras and the games ahead of you.
That is right. And with that, let's actually jump straight to the action. We have a lot to discuss. We have a lot to go over. But a game has already started. And if there's one thing I know about YouTube, it's that you just got to start the video in the action. So right now, we have Leinier Dominguez going up against Yiping from the Shanghai Tigers. And you can tell that there are some moves on the board. The music is excessively loud, in my opinion. But here we go. Let's just jump into it. And we'll see where things go from here. Nemo, it's great to have you. I don't know if you've seen any of this game so far, but one of our top boards is Leinier Dominguez. He's got the black pieces, so I imagine there's a way I could flip it to see it from the Archbishop's point of view. And here we go. We have a Queen's Gambit accepted on the board already with knight to f3, knight f6, e3. Here's our position. Probably some very standard stuff so far. An interesting choice, I suppose, by black, the much higher rated opponent, if they're looking to play for a win. I normally think of this as something you do to maybe equalize, but you know what? Here we are. This is our position, and in a way we go. So anyways, it's good to have you on the stream. It's a real pleasure to be here. Could you, I guess, let's just start off the top. So you are the team captain for our show. Could you let me know what exactly that means? Because this year I think it's a little bit different. Every team has their own captain, but I'm not exactly sure what it means. What does it all mean?
I believe that as the captain, it means I am doing content, and I know that we are still, sorting out a couple of technical difficulties.
Yeah.
It is our first time, so you guys don't see the clocks yet. I'll give you guys a rundown. It's currently 9 minutes to 7:50, and we're on move 13, so that will be all added really quickly. And as Jonathan mentioned, it's between Dominguez and Yiping. So yeah, I will be doing a lot of the content. This is our first broadcast, so it's a little bit scuffed so far, but we'll get this all going really, really soon. And I'm really excited to just be bringing a couple of, exclusive interviews. Hopefully the St. Louis team will be making it to the Final Four, so you'll see me there in person, amongst other things. I do not have the right to decide who plays and who doesn't play. So do keep that in mind if anything does happen, because, I'm not responsible for the players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
Just
captain is
adding
not
that.
manning the team. Our manager of the team is the one and only Mike Kummer, who's been doing an excellent job. He's helped lead us to many victories in the Pro Chess League. I believe we have 3 titles under our belt, as well as if you count the U.S. Chess League, which was the predecessor of this, it is 4 in total. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, in this case, I understand you guys don't see the players just yet, but Black is playing. Black is Dominguez, who is on the St. Louis Archbishops team. So, for now, we're just following Black. I'll keep relaying you guys the time and everything. We don't care that much about who White is. No, I'm completely joking. But no, White is a very, very strong 2,500 IM. I don't actually even know if he's 2,500. He's probably higher rated than that. You know, coming from China, it's quite difficult to get a lot of FIDE rated tournaments in, especially, you know, with the current situation where they're still not fully able to travel and all that. So we'll see. I'm sure the opponent is, you know, equally is really strong. Obviously, Dominguez has been a notable grandmaster for a really long time. Perhaps, Jonathan, you can actually shine a little bit more light on how Dominguez came to join the team, how, you know, you guys decided on such an amazing roster of players.
So yeah, every single roster decision, we have a method to the madness. Mike Kummer has his own very special ways. There's some very particular rules with the Pro Chess League for who can play and what ratings count for what. I know we might even have a graphic for it, but we can show. Every team will be having at least one female on their team, and the ratings, it works kind of interesting because you can't just put all 2,700s on your team. The way it works is you need to include at least 2 women on your entire roster, and you need to include at least 1 junior born in 2003 or later. Teams can then add up to 8 players by mid-season, and players need to stick around with the team as they play one game. So that is kind of what goes into it. And then even on a weekly basis, the way that it works is you can't just stack your team with the top 4 players in the world. There's a little bit to it. We could flip to potentially the lineup rules. So every single week you will see it, every team will include at least 1 woman for a total cap of 2,550 average rating. And anybody that's over 2,700 counts as a 2,700. So Magnus Carlsen, he's a 2,700 as far as the lineup's concerned, but on the same pace, anybody under 2,200 counts as a 2,200. So if you put a 100 rated player in your lineup just to lower your rating, it actually will count as a 2,200. And any women that's 2,350 or above will actually count as a 2,350 to encourage more women to be able to play. And we're using the FIDE standard ratings as of November 1st. So Mike Kummer has a tough job to do because the total cap is 2,550. So you can't just sit there and just stack, you know, to the roof with the top 4 players. It does take like a particular, you're looking for lower rated players that are potentially underrated. You're looking for the highest rated players that you possibly can. And Mike usually does a very good job coming up with our matchups on the day-to-day. And I don't think we have a full list of the St. Louis Archbishop roster, but I can tell you for a fact that it is Fabiano Caruana is on the team, not playing today. Leinier Dominguez is here with us today. Jeffrey Zhang is in the roster, but he's not playing today. You will see Benjamin Bach play today. Nikolas Theodorou will be playing today. Then we have Veruja Nakobian, Rochelle Wu. Alice Lee is somebody that we will be checking out later in this broadcast. Then we have Julian Proleko and Sophie Morris Suzuki. That is the entire lineup for the team. And I believe we actually do have clocks now, and we can get back. There hasn't been too much action in the game so far, and I don't know, it feels like to me it's a bit of a strange way, or maybe this is just Leinier's approach. He's obviously the much higher rated player, and he's gone for like a completely symmetrical pawn structure where it feels like, I don't know, everything is going to be equal for like around a long time, and maybe he's just hoping to get his opponent into some endgame in the future, because it looks like we're swapping off a lot of rooks. Pawn structure is exactly the same. Could be a lot of trades on the horizon. What do you think of this position so far? All right, I think maybe we have lost Nemo temporarily, so we will work to get her back.
Sorry, hello. There we go. Okay, that was a user error. I was just saying, the position is very, very equal, and I'm a little bit concerned about Dominguez's usage of time in a position that is so equal, because this is a rapid game. He has 4 minutes 53 on the clock. His opponent has 6 minutes 40. So, you know, there's a little bit of extra time for the opponent right now, and spending so much time on a singular move like Rick DA does not make too much sense to me. I'm not quite sure what Dominguez is thinking about here. It is a very, very equal position.
Yeah, just a move ago, it was right here that he spent quite a bit of time, and he just comes up with, I mean, I guess a relatively straightforward, simple, trading the pieces kind of move. And then we see H3. So it would be interesting to see if the opponent actually plays quickly and is able to somehow put Dominguez under time pressure. But they still have quite a bit of time. We'll see how it goes from here. But as far as I'm concerned, we're going to be seeing quite a lot of trades. And I'm not sure that that's the right match strategy. The goal is to get 8.5 total points. It is a 4 versus 4, so all of our board 1 will play against their boards 1, 2, 3, and 4. Boards 2, everybody plays everybody one time, and whoever gets the most points wins. And I think one also interesting thing is that there's no tie breaks this year, or there's no ties. You're not allowed to draw the actual match this year, which I think is something that's a little bit different. So there will be something decisive, and we're counting on your highest board. You expect your highest board to be able to put together a lot of wins for you, so we'll see what happens here. But anyways, the match format is a 4x4 between the two chess teams. All plays all. The time controls are 10 plus 2. The first team to 8.5 points will win the match, and the tiebreak is we will replay round 4 pairings if we have to. That's when all of the top seeds are playing each other. Board 1 plays board 1. The second highest rated players play the second highest rated players until we finally do get a winner. That's how it is going to be working. And I know that it is a particularly complicated elimination Swiss season. The way that the entire season is going to be running is also particularly complicated, but you want to win every match. Because if you can, after week 1, the teams will face everybody with the same record. It's a Swiss bracket pairings. There's 16 total teams competing for 8 playoff spots. After week 1, the team faces those with the same records. 3 wins secures a playoff spot. 3 losses eliminates you from playoff contention. And then in the middle, there's a lot of room for possibility. But everybody is trying to get those 3 wins just to make sure that they secure their spots, because after week 2, you will see teams starting to drop out. So, okay, we also might see rooks eventually get traded on the D file. We're eagerly
Very
awaiting.
eventually, though.
Both players taking
Extremely,
times.
yeah, for sure. I mean, this game is. I'm still like, I care a lot about time when it comes to chess. I'm not sure what your favorite time control is, Jonathan, but I love my bullet chess, and I'm getting quite concerned for Dominguez. So as far as I know about Dominguez's chess play, he has traditionally gotten in time trouble, even in his classical chess. I'm a little concerned here because the time difference is growing. So, not really sure where the thought is going. I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, he's down
What do
to
you think?
he's down
What
to
do you
about
think he's
2
thinking
minutes.
about?
I mean, it is like I
Yeah.
expect him. Yeah, he's notably a very, very solid player. He doesn't take like a huge amount of chances, but it's interesting to see him playing against somebody that's much lower rated. Like if you're constantly playing against Fabi and Magnus, like I get it. That's a very solid approach. It's taken you very far. You've done very well with it. But now you're playing on a team match where you need to win. The team is really counting on you. But maybe his idea is he's just gonna draw with black, or maybe he's like, I can still win. I'm Leinier Dominguez. Look, the closer we get to the end games, the better it'll be for me. But even if he is a bullet player, maybe he is a bullet player. Maybe we're gonna see him. He's like, just wait till I get 1 minute on my clock, then I'll pick up the pace.
I do want to add that all of the other games have started as well. We have been doing staggered starts, so we can drop in on, we can drop on Benjamin's game. Let's go in order. Benjamin Bach is playing against Xu Yi.
All right.
And I did want to add that all of the Chinese players have ratings of about 2,500, except for Wei Yi, who's 2,700. As a reminder, Chinese players can be very underrated because they don't get enough tournaments within the country itself, and it's very hard to travel currently. So even though the St. Louis Archbishops might have an rating advantage right now, don't forget everybody also plays against each other. So,
Wow, all right. So
anything can happen.
We're going to need to be very careful in this one. Hopefully Mike stacked the team accordingly. But here's the game. It's some Gioco piano, some very quiet Italian game. Hopefully we get something really exciting to get us going here. But so far, relatively typical stuff. Ooh, we see A6 followed by A5. But this is all relatively standard and normal for such openings. These ones, they always have like so many tiny nuances, every single line in the Italian. Here we see the knight take the bishop right away, which is interesting, just leaving the bishop hanging. And after that bishop is taken, the knight is now going to need to retreat, so it goes all the way back. We see this capture. We'll see. He doesn't want to take back with his pawn, I suppose. Takes back with the queen. White is kind of looking for anything basic weaknesses, but maybe this is all right. We see a lot of knight maneuvering. Queen comes in. She's begging for a trade that I don't think black is willing to go for. And here is the position that they got to. After the knight goes back to a7, We see the rook take a pawn, so we've seen a sacrifice now. Black takes the pawn back. Here we are. Let's just get to our current position. Okay, so this is a little bit different. It's a little bit more strategically complex than the position that we were looking at just a moment ago. But again, it's kind of a symmetrical pawn structure. This is becoming a theme of the day.
It is. I mean, when you get a lot of strong players playing against each other, right? There's this really famous saying on my channel where people like to say the bet like perfectly played games are a draw.
Yeah.
And I do have to agree, when you have some really high rated players, some people who really know how to play chess, they're not blundering their pieces all the time. Surprisingly, you might end up in a lot of positions where the position is actually equal. So I'm not too worried about all these equal positions. I'm confident in Benjamin's ability to squeeze out an edge, even though the pawn structure is completely equal. I don't quite see where the advantage is currently, but at the same time, an endgame, just because it's an equal endgame, does not mean it's necessarily a draw here. Benjamin might be going for knight to c4, and obviously white is playing knight to d2 to stop knight to c4, also reinforcing the e4 pawn a little bit. So we still have all of these really dynamic ideas in these kind of positions.
Wow, rook to b8 was just played. Rook to b8. Now there is a mysterious move. What's rook to b8 all about?
I cannot tell you. I really don't know. Yeah, sometimes.
Okay, here we go.
Sometimes it just happens.
So the idea is emerging. So okay, he played rook to b8 and now rook to a5. And so I suppose the idea is, if you were now to capture the rook on a5, you'd be able to take back with the b pawn, and the rook on b8 would be staring down the opponent's b pawn. Wow, okay, so a very interesting idea. So white does not want to trade, but rather plays b4 and is asking black, are you going to trade, or are you going to run your rook all the way back, avoiding the trade? Okay, so we have our eyes on this one. The Dominguez game has ended in a draw, unsurprisingly.
Right.
But
that does make sense.
But yeah, just let me know if you'd like me to keep going around the board. I've actually never been in charge of the boards for these shows. It's a first for me.
Okay. Right. I still can't see your shared screen, so I'm just trying to follow along based on what you say.
Okay.
But that's totally fine. I was thinking we can drop into the Wenjun versus Nikolas.
Wonderful. Okay, let's
game.
check this out.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and just
I'm
check out how we
confident
got
in Ben's ability. Yeah.
So this is Nikolas Theodorou with the white pieces, Wenjun with the black pieces. We have some sort of Catalan going on here, where, okay, we're getting this b5 line where black will, at least for the moment, hold on to this pawn. We'll see if she gets to keep it forever. e4 is played. e5, knight d5, knight e4. And all right, queen to h5. Look, here we got like some exciting action. It looks like white is sacking a pawn and potentially trying to play for some sort of attack. Knight f3, b takes a4 is an interesting idea. But now knight f to g5. Look, white is putting all of these pieces next to the king. This could be fun. After h6, knight goes back to h3. Queen e8, queen e2, f5. E takes f5, knight takes f6, queen takes c4, a5. Okay, so much potential here. The knights are hopping in. Queen is coming to h5. Yeah, okay. And then maybe we're simmering down and trading a little bit in the end. But this is our current position after bishop to e3, where it looked like for a moment white was doing some interesting things on the king side. But maybe now, with this open f-file, Wenjun might be able to put a little bit of pressure on white. What do you feel about this position?
I really like Wenjun's position in this case. I mean, obviously, she has a slightly weak pawn structure, so I'm assuming that Nikolas's main idea should be to go into an endgame. But at the same time, you know, time is running a little bit low, so we have to see if she's really able to use what time she has left in order to create an attack on white's king structure. So as long as Nikolas gets out of this, I think he'll be totally okay.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens here. I know you always have your eyes on the clock. Wenjun now is under 2 minutes. Nikolas Theodorou has about 3 minutes on his clock. So there's a lot to discuss here. We can really quick take a look at The highest rated opponent going up against our lowest rated player as well. This is the game between Alice Lee with white going up against Wei Yi with the black pieces. There's a very large difference in the rating, so we'll see how they handle it. Here it's some sort of like modern defense. This is actually kind of an interesting system for black. They're playing with this early knight to c6. They're not playing d6 or anything, kind of encouraging white to eventually come forward, but Alice is saying no. She is not going to move her pawns forward until black plays e5. And we're going to get some interesting position. The knight is coming into d4. We're seeing her bishop pop back because maybe she wants to play f3 at some moments, which is exactly what happens. c5 occurs on the board, b4 playing on the queen side. King's maneuvering. This is going to be fascinating. This is definitely an interesting approach, very provocative by Wei Yi. This game, but wait, are these clocks real? Wei Yi is under a minute. Alice Lee has almost 4 minutes on her clock.
This doesn't make any sense. They can't have spent that much time on this
I'm not
game
sure
already.
if I should trust the clocks or not. But...
I don't trust the clocks. I mean, they've played 17 moves. There's no way that Wei Yi's... I mean, it could be. I never really know, but I'm a little bit sus of this time.
we'll know in 20 seconds if he doesn't make a move, if they keep playing or not, if these times are real, but
yeah,
we'll stick here for just a second.
Right, we'll keep an eye out on this. I mean, at the current moment, I really like Alice Lee's position, and I noticed someone commented in the chat that Dominguez drew their lowest rated, the board 4.
Yeah. And
I do want to add that, once again, you just never know what might happen in chess, right? So the lowest rated player can definitely draw the highest rated player, especially because the lowest player is also 2,500. I mean, that's pretty strong board 4. So, you know, the Shanghai Tigers are not messing around. They're fielding their strongest players against the St. Louis Archbishops, and it's just it's going to be a tough match. It's going to be a tough match for sure.
All right, and we might actually be able to bring in a cam shot of Alice Lee, who has a very tough first matchup right now. And it is, I mean, again, you mentioned that this is kind of a good position for white. I feel like this is one of those positions where you always like, oh, this is so good for me as white, but then somehow the opponent is so much higher rated, and you're like, wait a minute. At some point, it gets difficult to find the way forward. This feels like it's good for white, but your opponent is Wei Yi, and then things get complicated. So we're going to see what happens.
Yeah,
we have brought Alice up on the screen. You can see her playing chess there.
Playing some chess. I do like her position, but I don't know if the board is updating as it should be.
Okay.
Since Wei Yi's clock has run to 0. So, you know, we will be updated momentarily. But I do believe the Wenjun versus Nikolas game is still going on, so we can drop in and take a look at that.
Okay. So we stopped around here. There's new moves, knight to d3, letting a queen trade happen. Pawn is coming to e4. Wait, he's grabbing all the pawns. Wait, white just grabbed all the pawns. Wait, this is fantastic. This is looking amazing.
Fantastic. Right. I mean, this is what I was saying, right? If Wenjun's attack doesn't succeed, then white has this slightly better endgame because Wenjun's pawn structure is just so weak. She has those double pawns on the A file. She had the isolated C pawn, which is on a half open file. She's got that, you know, E pawn that has nowhere to go. I'm not really sure what this E4 move was about.
Yeah, E4 was very strange. It was clearly, so she gives up a pawn, and I'm not sure what she may have missed in a position like this. I don't know. Hopefully, maybe she was hoping for simplifications. Maybe thought the bishop was going to take on f5 here or something and just trade the bishops. I'm not exactly sure. But instead, we see bishop takes c6, counter-attacking the rook, so leaving the knight hanging. And then after the rook moves anywhere, you're able to play e4. And now white just has these massive pawns in the center and should have a fantastic game. So here they go. The pawns are moving. The pawns are pushing. Presumably, he's just going to take back the bishop on f4 in our current position. And these pawns should be enough to win the game. So let's stick here, and we can see if Nikolas Theodorou will be able to pull this one off and get the first win. Our other two games that have finished so far, Leinier Dominguez game and the Benjamin Bach game, both ended in a draw. So we're looking for somebody to get some points on the board, and maybe it's all up to Nikolas.
Absolutely. Can we drop in again on the Alice game? Is that still not updating?
So I don't have any new moves in this game. After bishop to f2, we're a little bit stuck here. So I guess we can.
Okay.
I'll keep our eyes on the Theodorou game because we still for sure got moves coming in.
Right.
And then we'll bounce back as soon as we can see something happen in that game. The clocks are a bit funky here. I'm not sure if anybody's in time trouble, but if you look at the clocks, everybody's under 20 seconds. And here they're moving fast, so maybe I do believe it. Are they just going to make a draw? No!
Oh no!
Don't make a draw!
Oh, well, I mean, to be fair, it's a slightly tough position, I think, to, feel confident pushing for a win when the engine line rook to e4, king d2, king to d2, rook to d4, king to c1, and your king is on the square. We can make the moves over the board as well,
Okay.
just to give the viewers a clear idea of what's going on. Not everybody has as good visualization as you and I, Jonathan, but this could be a little bit scary for white to play.
If I just keep checking, I guess the question is, how do I actually escape these checks? The computer finds some way. Or is there? Does the computer actually find a way? Like, the computer just keeps saying, go back.
Wait, what happens on rook to c4 and king to b1?
Yeah, so this is the way that you would try.
Yeah, I think
so if you just give checks like this, I don't know if you can see my screen, but if you just check on c2 with the bishop, the king is going to run all the way to a3, and you're going to be totally safe. So what would black actually play after king to b1?
Well, I think this is the winning line for white.
Yeah, it looks like maybe this was the way. Now I will easily exit analysis. But this game did end in a draw. Oh no!
Yeah, well, Nikolas had Nikolas didn't have a lot of time on his clock. I honestly can't really blame him. It does look really scary. He probably thought that after the whole line and after bishop to c2, after king c1, rook c4, king b1, bishop c2, king to a2, and bishop to b3, for example.
Yeah, you don't know if you're getting mated or not.
Right.
You're very
he might
stuck.
have been worried. Yeah, he might have seen some ghosts with rook to g3. He might have just, not really calculated this line, assumed that black must have had perpetual. So you just don't really know about those kind of situations. But at the same time, when you only have 4 seconds left on the clock as somebody who has played a lot under time trouble, you definitely don't want to risk losing, right? When you for sure have a draw, especially against Wenjun, who has won world championships and stuff like that recently. It's still a really good draw.
Yep.
But
so on paper, a good result here for Nikolas Theodorou, but it feels like maybe we missed a chance. Hopefully we're not coming back to this at the end thinking to ourselves, oh no, if it was Theodorou could have just won this game, maybe there'd be a chance. But it's only round 1. And the other thing is we have the Alice Lee Wei Yi game, but there's just not been any moves here. So this here, we appear to be stuck. So we know we got at least 3 draws, and we're not exactly sure. The result has not been marked for this game. We can see Alice on the screen. It looks like she... Oh, maybe we can see her board in the deep background. It looks like the final position, maybe their game has ended. Trying to gather from her face, does she look happy or sad? It's not easy to tell. Oh, but they're making moves.
yeah,
Okay, she has a computer screen behind her, and she's making moves.
we're just having transmission errors. I believe Alice lost according to my chat at least. And the Tigers are now leading 2.5 to 1.5.
Oh no! All right, so the Tigers strike first.
Yeah. The Tigers have striked first. But, there's always all of the other games we're going to play. I'm trying to do the math for how many games are going to keep happening, and I can't even do the math for it. I literally can't. You're playing everybody at least once. So there's a lot of games still going on. There will be still a lot of games going on.
All right, I have risked clicking refresh. It has done absolutely nothing. I risked it live. But yeah, so there will be 16 total games. There's 4 per round, so 8.5 is what you need to win the match. So, okay, obviously draws are a half point. We can see that at some point, Wei Yi will have 1 point. So this brings their total. Don't worry, I'm great at math. They have 2.5 points. We have 1.5. My producer didn't correct me, so I know that I'm right. And now there'll be some sort of small break, and then we'll get this going. And you know what? This is just to make it a little bit more exciting for the fans. Now we have something to look forward to, and we'll see if the team is able to pull it off. Just a reminder to everybody of the format if you've just joined us. This is a 4x4 between the two chess teams. Everybody will be playing everybody. The time control is 10 minutes with a 2-second delay, and that has played a very important role in every single game we've seen so far. The first team to 8.5 points will win the match, and there will be a tiebreak if necessary, and we will be playing the round 4 pairings, the round in which all of the top seeds play each other until one team wins. Now let's go ahead and get a sneak peek at the pairings of round 2 before we jump into all of the action. We are going to see Leinier Dominguez, our top seed, going up against Yizhu of the Tigers. We are also going to be seeing Benjamin Bach going up against Yiping Liu. So far, we have an advantage on both of our top boards. We're also going to be seeing Yi Wei going up against Nikolas Theodorou, who maybe had an opportunity but missed it here in the last round. Wei Yi is the one that also was able to get the only score for the Tigers so far. And finally, we will be having a match between Wenjun and Alice Lee. So there's a lot to look forward to. It's a pretty equal match on both boards. And Nemo, with that, we're actually going to take a little bit of a break, and we'll see what happens when round 2 kicks off momentarily.
Sounds great. See you guys soon.
Was an amazing piece of calculation. He easily dominated his rival, winning game after game. The opposition has never been as heated, as fierce in both elite chess tournaments in the world.
In competitive chess, the weight of a win, draw, or loss is all on one's shoulders. It's easy to feel alone. Those lonely days are over. The Pro Chess League is back. Once again, in chess, teammates matter.
Look at Barb celebrating! It is official! The Armenia Eagles are the champions!
Welcome back, PCL. A unique collection of teams, each with their own personality of different colors, shapes, and sizes. There are gnomes and knights, chess bras and bishops, and whatever the heck this is. The PCL is the only place where the best players in the world risk their fate alongside content creators and players from different levels, ages, and perspectives.
Oh my god! Oh my god! How did that... You see Wesley's face?
Entering its 5th season, 16 teams will reboot the PCL legacy with a new format and new schedule. Only one team can be crowned the next PCL champion.
The St. Louis Archbishops bring the title back to the chess capital of the world there.
Hey, there's no I in chess. That said, there's no I in team either. My friends, it's the 2023 Pro Chess League. Which team can rise above the rest? They won't be able to do it alone. In competitive chess, the weight of a win, draw, or loss is all on one's shoulders. It's easy to feel alone. Those lonely days are over. The Pro Chess League is back. Once again, in chess, teammates matter.
Look at Farm celebrating. It is official. The Armenia Eagles are the champions.
Welcome. The PCL is the only place where the best players in the world risk their fate alongside content creators and players from different levels, ages, and perspectives.
Oh my god! Oh my god! How did that? You see Wesley's face?
Entering its 5th season, 16 teams will reboot the PCL legacy. With a new format and new schedule. Only one team can be crowned the next PCL champion.
The St. Louis Archbishops bring the title back to the chess capital of the world there.
Hey, there's no I in chess. That said, there's no I in team either. My friends, it's the 2023 Pro Chess League. Which team can rise above the rest? They won't be able to do it alone.
Broadcast.
Welcome back to round 2 of the Pro Chess League. My name is Jonathan Schrantz. I'm joined here by Nemo, who is the captain of our team. And we do have round 2 underway. In the first round, the Tigers were able to get a victory over us. Otherwise, it was 3 solid draws. And we're jumping straight into the game now between Leinier Dominguez and Wei Yi, who are playing a game. And Dominguez from the Archbishops has the white pieces. He's our highest rated player. And they are starting, we'll get the board up for you in just a minute, with what else but a Petrov. But it's not a Stafford Gambit, it's a normal, everyday, grandmasterly Petrov. And we see a lot of normal moves. This is usually a very solid system for both sides. Rook to e1, castles, knight to d2, knight to d6, going back, offering a trade of the bishops. We see knight going to f1, not trading immediately. And it's a very solid setup for both of the players. We eventually see the capture on d3. And here we see h4, though. Okay, we are actually going to be getting maybe a little bit of action. Here comes the pawn. This is technically a sacrifice, I suppose, but maybe not. Don't worry about grabbing this. Your knight here on d6 might be hanging in the end of the line. So we see the knight hopping back. Black is coming to play a little bit of defense. And white is able to win one of the bishops and has to play f6. Okay, it looks like not, I don't know, it's not like super duper winning or anything for white, but maybe white is asking a lot of tough questions here, forcing just a couple minor concessions from the black side. Nemo, what do you think of the position that we got on the board?
Well, I think Dominguez's position is really solid. He's got queen to g3 probably upcoming. He's got knight g3, knight e3 ideas. I really like white's position in this case, and I know you're going to comment on the fact that it's a symmetrical pawn structure again.
It is
But
every
I do
game.
want to remind you guys. Right, we're getting a lot of symmetrical pawn structures, and that's totally fine. So Dominguez has actually played knight to e3, and it's going to be going into one of these positions where moves will slowly be played on the board. It is a Petrov, so as you guys know, when you don't get into the Stafford Gambit in the Petrov, the position is pretty safe, pretty solid. But I really like white's ideas here. We've got ideas like rook e2, rook ae1. We have a lot of ideas with potentially pawn to h5, pawn to h6, just a lot of things overall. Like there are all these little threats that might come up, and I really like this position for white.
Yeah,
As long
I
as he doesn't
agree.
use too much time.
Yeah, that's right. Most importantly, right, hasn't used too much time. But yeah, definitely, it's looking very promising for Dominguez. And maybe we'll see. Maybe this is his approach, which is probably his actual real approach in, regular chess match. Try to get some sort of advantage with white, capitalize on it. And when you have the black pieces, even if you're playing a lower rated player, just play very solid, make a draw if you need to. But I don't think we'll ever see Dominguez try to go out of his way to take like monstrous chances that he doesn't need to. This feels though really like something that he gets small advantages like this and he's able to do wonderful things with them. So I definitely want to stay and watch this one. I'm also not sure if any other games have actually started, but I guess we got our eyes on this, waiting to see what black comes up with. It's
Actually, all of the games have
all
started.
Of the games have started. Okay.
Yes, and you can go back to events and click on,
All
for
right.
example, we can go
Producer, be
look
ready. The
at
board is about to
Benjamin.
change. All right. So we do
Yeah, we can
have
look
all of
at
the games. which
Benjamin
I'm
versus.
just gonna pop them all up here real quick.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, producer, just don't put this on the screen. Just whatever you do. All right. Now, so we do have all of the games. Hopefully, let's see what else has. It looks like it might be a little bit interesting. We can go to board 2 now. This is the game between Benjamin Bach and Lu Yiping. This started with an English. 1 to c4 was the starting game. We see a c6, d5 approach from the opponent. So a very solid way to start. But sometimes there's dangerous lines here for white with some early g4 at some random moments. But I don't think we're going to be seeing that this game. White is just continuing. He's developing. Black is able to get the center. We see the trade. And we see knight to b5 going directly after this bishop. This forces the bishop to go back to b8. But after rook to c1, it looks like it's going to be difficult to stop this knight from hopping into the c7 square. So instead we see d4. Wait, okay. There's a lot of interesting things happening in this game right now. Fascinating.
Yeah, and I think Lu Yiping is playing d4 in order to play after e takes d4. For example, I don't suppose that e takes d4 actually works, but his plan might be to try to keep the white king in the middle of the board with the open e file. However, in this case, I would just play knight b takes d4, and after rook e8, you can go castle because the knight on d4 is once again protecting the light squared bishop. So you can play e takes. So after e4, e takes d4, e takes d4.
All right, sorry, I was
Knight takes
focusing on
d4.
being able to get out of analysis mode. After
Okay.
So after the capture, what were you planning on
Yeah,
doing here?
after d4, e takes d4, e takes d4. I wanted to showcase the fact that black might be trying to play rook e8 in order to stop the white king from castling. But there is knight e to d4 right now, knight b to d4. And then the knight protects the light square bishop after rook e8. So after rook e8, white can actually just castle.
Yeah, so this would be very good for white. Just snatched a pawn for no reason. So let's see what white is actually going to come up with. Well, we actually do have some moves on the board. So this was played. But now, instead of capturing the pawn on d4, we see e4 being the main idea. So sacking a pawn, leaving white with these isolated pawns. And now the knight hops in to e5 and would be perfectly happy if you were willing to take here and fix our pawn structure. So we'll see what black is able to come up with. And also, we still have this idea of bringing our knight into the c7 square at some moment. So it looks very promising. You're not going to be able to stop white from being able to castle if he wants to. And white might be the one making all of the threats here in just a moment. So
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, I think black playing a6, forcing white to play knight to c7 is probably his best idea because the position is just super tight. And if black doesn't really get anything going in this position, his pieces are literally all on the back rank. He has to somehow bring his pieces out. So if black here plays a6, which Jonathan will demonstrate for us after knight to c7, bishop takes c7, queen takes c7, at least black will be able to play something along the lines. I really like knight d5 personally in this position. I think knight d5 forces queen takes d8 if you retreat your queen. Other things might happen, and this is probably going to be black's best bet. He will be down a pawn going to this endgame, but Benjamin has the double pawns, so you can deal with that as black. But I do like Benjamin's position. He's definitely slightly better. And in the game, actually, instead of a6, knight to b6 has been played,
Okay.
which I do not like at all for black. This looks like black just is too, like, his position is just much too compact right now. He needs to swap off some pieces, go into that end game. I think bishop a3 here, rook e8, and then knight c7 is going to be quite
like this
painful.
Is tremendous. Yeah. I mean, so like taking would be forced. I imagine we get to align something like this, and yeah. It's a little bit awkward for black indeed.
Yeah.
Huh.
A very tight position for black. So I trust Benjamin to take care of the position.
Yeah, he's got it from here.
Yeah, and I did want to go back to Dominguez's game really quickly.
Absolutely.
Because he has played queen to h3 and is now pushing h5.
Wow, so
possibly with the idea of pushing h6.
Yeah, we'll back up just a little bit. So he traded a bishop for a knight on d6 in order to get this knight to the f5 square. Brings the queen over. Potentially setting up some nasty cheapos with knight to h6. So the king has to move over to the corner. Now h5. We see one trade of the rooks, rook to e8. So black is desperately trying to get as many pieces traded as possible. So what will white be able to do? If you can trade all the pieces, then the attack will go away, although, even in some endgame, maybe white is doing quite well here. So it'll be interesting to see what he comes up with. You could just trade rooks right away. You can even play king to f1, saying if you take my rook, I'm just going to take it back with the king. Look at that.
Yeah, Dominguez's gameplay is just so safe and so solid. So although you might see the evo bar creeping up a tiny bit for white, I actually have a feeling that this game is going to be a draw again, because I don't think he's the type of person to push for a win.
We will see. Come on, Dominguez. We're down in the match. Somebody's got to step up. You got to count on your highest rated player. He's got to come through. But yeah, we'll see. All right, he does get checked, so I'm anticipating another king move here. We'll see where the king is, which direction he wants to put his king, where he feels safest. Yeah, but I mean,
absolutely.
We'll see. We'll see. So this one definitely is intriguing. Also, there should be quite a lot of other games. Decides to put the king on d2. It is the board one game, so we could stay here for a second. Definitely not a deflection from the fact that I don't know how to scan through any of the boards.
You have them on the side now, so you can just hop over to Wei Yi versus Nikolas.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And with that being said, we will hop over to the game from Wei Yi and Nikolas. We did see this one. No, we haven't seen this one at all. So Nikolas Theodorou here has the black pieces, and he's going up against the highest rated opponent on their team. So we have some sort of interesting Rosalimo Sicilian. Knight comes out to g6. Let's see how this one shaped up. Eventual a6, b5. Whoa, queens coming over very quickly to h5, caveman style. Maybe we'll see a quick checkmate. Pawn goes to e5, very solid, keeping that bishop trapped on c2. But we'll see. Is white actually able to make use of, I don't know, some of these weakened squares? He's going to try. Puts the knight on c5, which hurts a little bit. So he's just taken right away. We're seeing the rooks coming. Okay, knight to f4. Kicks the queen back. Have to keep an eye on some of these pieces. Lots of trades. Eventual c5, which is what you're looking to do. And are we actually just losing a pawn here, though? Uh-oh. Is this a major problem for black?
Yes, this is a major problem for black. Unfortunately, Nikolas has just blundered the pawn, which, to be valid, he probably wasn't even thinking that was a possibility last move. Instead of playing c5, could have played potentially f6.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe just move this rook somewhere or something.
Well, you can't play rook to e8 because then there's bishop, still bishop to d6. You can definitely play rook to d7, but even rook d7 isn't the best because rook takes d7, queen takes d7. There's rook to d1, so you're
you're still doing it. If I go back, you're going to do it to me again.
Right, you just defeated the purpose
it's so
of
annoying.
Rook to d7. So instead of playing rook takes d1, instead of playing c5 on move 20. He definitely should have just played.
Maybe this is where it started to go wrong.
Yeah, this is where it starts to go wrong. Even f6 looks very uncomfortable here for black. So that pawn on e5 just became a weakness.
Oh, so tough luck. We're going to be going down a pawn. Here, though, it's okay. He's trying to get into an endgame. I think he's trying to trade the queens and saying, okay, you're going to be up a pawn, but we'll get to some endgame. Maybe I can be solid and try to draw that somehow. But we see Wei Yi just keeping the queens on the board. And some quick moves. Okay, he was ready for it, and he just plops queen to a5 on the board. Some counterattack. Now, I'm a little bit worried that, you know, white is doing some stuff over here on the king side, and we're going to get a little bit sidelined, grabbing some of these pawns on the other side of the board. Usually that's a recipe for disaster for black, but who knows?
I mean,
Maybe
you
he'll
just
be
can't
able to
even
pull
do
it
that.
off.
You can't even do that in this position, right? Because after bishop takes e5, queen takes a2, there is rook to d7 straight away, hitting your bishop. With so bishop takes e5 here for white.
Sorry, yep, let me just catch up with the move. Sorry, go ahead again. Okay, well, I guess
Yeah,
we're going to see it
queen
played out on the
to-
board. If we take the
Right,
pawn
queen
right
to
away.
a2, and then there's rook to d7.
Ooh, oh no. All right,
Which
so this
will
is just,
hit
this is just wins
F7.
immediately, yeah. Oh no, this would be quite bad. So hopefully we don't go grab this pawn right away. But if you don't do that, what do? Maybe you need to just try to trade. You just need to be a pawn down and hope for the best. But yeah.
Right.
Oof,
I
looking
mean,
very grim.
it's just a very tough position for
Yeah.
Nikolas. Just impossible
All right,
to play.
so hopefully, you know, there's always a chance that he's able to hold it. But we do have one more game going on. This is our game between Wenjun versus Alice Lee. So our teammate here has the black pieces. And, you know, it's tough. It's tough when you're the board 4. You got to play a lot of good people. And that's the situation she is in. Playing some sort of King's Indian attack. We're seeing a lot of these like double fianchettos and these kinds of events. B6, okay. Relatively standard attacks so far, where white is usually like a little bit better in all of these positions. Some deep maneuvering. Black hoping to eventually be able to play c5 and try to equalize at some moments, but white taking the time to play f4, keeping the super strong knight on the e5 square. Lots of interesting maneuvering, and eventually we get to this structure. All right. All right, and black is offering a trade, and this is the current position where queen to c2 was just played on the board. You know, it's not so bad at all. There is this weak c pawn, but, you know, compared to some of our other boards, not bad at all.
Yeah, once again, this is just one of those positions where it's super solid right now, but it feels like anything can happen. We have the bishops, the dark square bishops facing against each other. We have white's knight on e5. White has tried to go for an attack already with f4 and g4. We might see an f5 pawn push exactly at any given moment. You just never really know what might happen in these positions. I mean, obviously there is the option of black swapping off material with bishop takes e5, bishop takes c4 moves, etc., going into a safer endgame. But I'm not entirely sure if Alice feels confident in this endgame where she does have an isolated pawn on a half open file with the pawn on c5, as well as a potentially weak pawn on e4. So this is one of those really dynamic positions where I almost feel like keeping pieces on the board means that you're signing up to get attacked. But if you're not keeping pieces on the board,
Wolves came in so
what did I
fast. We
say?
saw f6 played.
Right, this is exactly what I did not want to see, because now there is rook takes d5.
Ooh, this could get nasty. Okay,
Yes,
so
and
your
after
idea if
rook
we
takes
take back?
d5, there's knight to d7. Because if you go rook takes d7, there's bishop takes e6, and then you get the rook back.
Yeah,
so
something like this is
a
just
lot of
dreadful.
tactics is happening. Right,
Wow.
it's
Okay,
just a
so
little...
yeah, let's come back to where we are. F6 was played. Is there anything else she can do? Yeah, just rook takes looks very strong now that you've put it on the. Now that you've
Yeah,
spotted
I mean,
this
the
one.
tactics in this position is just screaming at you, right? With the pair of bishops that white has
How do you
aimed at
not
the king
take?
side, and
Oh, I can't take, but I can't
don't
not
know,
take.
yeah.
Wait, this just
because you're down a
wins.
piece.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
looks
just
like this
not
is all
looking great.
forced. I don't know if white even needs to take back, but that looks strong enough. Oh, your idea was knight
do
d2, right?
think-
Knight d2 was, or knight
Knight
d7, sorry,
d7,
was
yeah.
even stronger.
Mhm.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, the idea with knight d7 is simply that the rook's not going anywhere, because if you play anything like rook to d6, you have knight takes f6 on all these sides. I mean, anyways,
Yeah.
the position is just
Oh,
rough.
wow.
f6.
Okay, so I want to.
F6 is scary.
Oh, but she doesn't play it. She plays f5.
But f5 is still really strong. I mean, we all know why Benjamin Feingold told us to never play f6, right?
Yeah, he was totally right
This
in this
is- this is
position.
why.
He was talking about this one.
This one specifically. I saw somebody in my chat actually ask, are pair bishops better than knight and bishop? And for the most case, pair bishops are better than knight and bishops, as they are going to be demonstrated in this game, where the pair bishops are just aimed right at black's king, and you'll just feel all sorts of pressure.
Oh man, yeah, not
in these kind of
easy in
structures.
all to figure out. So she heads to g5. She's hoping to be able to use some sort of aggressive squares in the future. But the bishop. I mean, rook takes d5 here is still probably very good.
This is. I mean, rook takes d5 is just a free piece. At this point, after rook takes d5, you might as well just go rook d1. We don't need any of that knight d7 nonsense anymore.
Yep,
just go
really
for the
trapped
piece.
in a pin. If we go ahead and we try to save it, at some point you're going to be cashing in here and just winning lots of material. Ooh, it's not good at all.
Yeah, a little iffy.
All right, so I expect to see a finishing move. We actually have some moves now on the board. Rook takes d5 was played, and after rook takes, rook to d1, exactly this. Rook d8, so all of the analysis, it does appear on the board, and now you're in a tough spot. Bishop comes in, it's attacking the queen. This forces rook takes d5, but now queen to c4, and the rook stays pinned. There's just no way out. And now we've run out of ways to defend our rook. So this could be the final move of the game, but we'll see. Maybe Alice will battle on. Maybe she's not ready to resign just yet. Okay, takes the knight, which is probably the best bet. All right. We'll see a little bit of a trade here. Now you're just hoping for some tactic related to this knight coming to f3, but assuming Wenjun doesn't fall for something like that. You should be good to go. Yeah, so we might be watching. I mean, there's still a little bit of fight. She's gonna put up a little bit of a fight here. You can take this H pawn. I mean, what lovely stuff.
She's definitely trying, and I have to give her credit for that. I mean, nothing else to do in this position other than to play on, but there's rook takes c5, there's bishop takes e5. Well, at least there is not bishop takes e5. You know what? I take that back.
Oh,
because
these are the kinds of things we're
the
waiting
forward.
for. There it is.
Those are the kind of things we're waiting for. Exactly.
Maybe this knight can be an all-star.
Yes, but we can't. I don't think Wenjun's going to fall for that.
Okay, so she gives a
and
check.
Indeed,
Okay.
she doesn't. So
Sneaky. This is the sneakiest, leaving the pawn hanging. This is the sneakiest, relying on the forks.
Still no bishop takes e5, guys. Still can't take that pawn. Nothing has changed from the last position. Can't be doing that. So yeah, I mean, I don't think Alice is unfortunately going to be able to hold this. And in other news, Dominguez also just drew his game. And I'm getting a little bit concerned for the lineup now.
I'm going to take a very quick peek at this because we saw it looked like mildly promising up to here. And then he just trades the queens. Look at this slight advantage into the endgame. Very professional. Who offered the draw and who accepted it? Come on, keep playing. We're trying to win. We need to make up points. So that's how this game finished. We can take another quick look at the Benjamin Bot game. I know we've had quite a lot of moves here. Oh, this one was interesting. Let's just run this back from the top. We'll speed run through the opening here because we got to a position like this, and this one looked the most promising for white. So if we want to look at what a potentially good position for us, we saw up to about here. Knight comes into d5. Rook goes all the way back to c1. White is up a pawn. But now, okay, a little bit uncomfortable. We got to bring our guy back, kick this knight out. Very interesting pawn structure going on the d file. Here's f3, getting the guy out of the way, some trades. Let's get all these rooks off the board. They were making it complicated. Picking up the pawn on a3. Knight's getting kicked away, but this looks very promising for white indeed. Looks like we're even winning this pawn. It is an opposite colored bishop endgame, but I thought this had a little bit more promise at some points, but still hopefully we're able to get there. Okay, now our last move was d5, removing the defender of b5. And I guess if we're able to get these two outside passers, maybe everything is actually going to be lovely for us.
I mean, not even
white.
that. If king takes d5, we just simply have d7.
Yeah, that's also a major problem for the opponent, so I guess we won't be seeing that one. So the king will probably need to go back. We're going to win this pawn. And this actually, I guess that makes it a very easy win for white. Let's get some points on the board.
It does. Yiping did indeed resign.
All right. So
and that will be Benjamin Bach's win, which is great because it's needed.
Very lovely stuff. Have we seen anything of this game? We did. Okay, so we are black in this one. This is Nikolas Theodorou. This is the toughest matchup for us. Oh yeah, this is the one where we were down like a pawn. At some point, we blundered a pawn, and then rook d8 was played, hoping to get some sort of simplification, needing to avoid getting checkmated, whoa, wait, what the heck is happening? So after e5 was played, I don't know, perhaps the queen is getting ready to come over to f5, we see bishop takes g2. What is this all
Bishop
about?
takes g2 is very ambitious.
And again, it's these sneaky knights, I guess, if you're going here.
Right. I mean, once again, we're going for
knights.
cheapos. If we're already down, you know, however many points, might as well go for the moves like bishop takes g2. Maybe Wei Yi won't see king takes g2.
I think
who
he
knows?
saw it. He plays
Yeah, he
queen
might
to
have seen
f5,
it. He might have seen it.
coming in, guarding
He might be going for checkmate.
the square. Okay, makes the bishop run. Hey, but we took your pawn. Oh no,
Yeah,
we took
but
our
we took your
pawn,
pawn.
and now if we take back, the whole thing is collapsing. So we play knight to g5. Okay. Maybe our cheapo didn't work. You can't get away with this. Another sneaky infiltrado. It's just quite sneaky though. It is quite sneaky. Forces this trade.
Honestly,
We don't
Wei
lose a
Yi
piece.
is right. Wei Yi is making mistakes.
A pin?
With only 6 seconds
Oh
left
my
on the clock.
gosh. We're able to get back
my
in
God.
time. He pokes the rook. And now eventually maybe he's finally capitalizing on this. We've grabbed a lot of stuff in the meantime while you were busy winning our knight. So, I mean, it can't possibly be that good for black, but we've gotten up to this point. And I mean, I don't know. It was at least a sneaky and good effort there.
Yeah, he tried.
And now we're
Have to
now we're
give
in the
Nicholas
time
credit.
scramble. So you can see both of these players are racing with not a lot of time left. So really anything is possible now. Down, we have one less bishop, but, you know, 2 extra pawns, 3 extra pawns. Theoretically fair.
Theoretically fair. And also, you know, it's not that easy to play these kind of positions for a win
Yeah.
with the white pieces. So there's
With 3
always the
seconds.
opportunity that Nicholas is able to hold this to a draw. I mean, he's pushing the pawns, he's doing the thing, he has to go king g6 here. Or, you know, don't disregard what I said. I said I had to go king g6 because this is what I was afraid of. Now your king looks like it's getting
Wait,
quite
I
close
turned
to
away
a
for 1
checkmate
second.
scenario.
What is happening?
Oh no!
The pawn.
Oh no!
You need to keep the pawns.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Hey, but we're so close. We're so close.
Yeah. I mean, if there was no light squared bishop on the board, that pawn would basically be promoting
Yeah,
next
it's
move,
just-
you know?
Yeah, it is hard to move the pawn now. So the pawn gets stuck. We're going to lose that H pawn, so you might as well,
But we can
let's
get
get
the
3
C
pawns
pawn.
on the other side. Go,
Yes.
pawns, go.
This is actually, if it wasn't for the fact that White's king, I mean,
White's
yeah,
king's
that
very
White's king
active,
was
yeah.
so far pushed up, it's so active, it would probably be actually closer to a draw than you can imagine.
Ooh, uh-oh.
White
I was
goofed a little
worried
bit,
that
but
yeah, a little
yeah,
bit.
there we go. There
Only
goes
one
the
bishop.
light
Oh
squared
no, a
bishop.
double goof up.
And there goes the rook. Oh,
that's
that's
probably the
rough.
last. That's probably the last move of the game. Oh no.
Yeah.
So Benjamin Bach wins a game, but then Nikolas Theodorou here loses a game. So that keeps us on even. And it's, I guess the Dominguez game was a draw. So the only thing we need to know is Alice Lee, who was in trouble in this game. She has the white pieces here. Let's try to remember where we saw last. We saw all of this for sure. We'll just come back and run through these moves. Oh yeah, she was just totally busted. In a lot of trouble, but she had a sneaky knight. We haven't seen a sneaky knight do anything great yet. But look at that king. Look at that. Wait, what is happening? Look at that king. Wait, she's
Look at that
wait,
king.
what? This is the major comeback.
Wait.
Alice Lee.
Wait, Alice Lee.
She's the greatest.
She has to play pawn to e3. She has to play pawn to e3. The idea behind pawn to e3 is that knight to f2. And if bishop takes f2, pawn takes f2.
Yeah.
Or even king takes f2. I'm not even sure there, but you got promotion ideas at the very least.
Wait, Alice Lee. No!
No! No, you can't play knight takes f6 because after rook takes a7, the a6 pawn is too close to promotion. So now
And
you
we no
don't
longer have
have
this
time
resource.
for the same idea.
Oh yeah, I mean she was so scared of this f pawn, and I would be too.
Right.
But now your knight
But
is too
the
far
problem
away.
with the difference between the f pawn is that if the f pawn promotes, it doesn't have any direct checks. The problem with a pawn promoting is that it promotes into a check.
Yeah. Oh, this
So
is coming with
you're
check.
losing. Yeah, you're losing too much time.
Oh no.
So she saw the idea, but wrong execution, which is very unfortunate.
Oh. And we could see the eval bar. She was definitely winning there for just a moment. She had her chance.
Just one move.
Another chance slipping away. We can't just, we can't throw away all of our games. We've been having enough chances.
Yeah.
Haven't fully capitalized this far into the round. All right, H2. Sure, I love it, but at some point, king is blockading the H-pawn. Whenever we make a queen, they're just going to trade, and then it's white making a queen and stopping us from doing anything. So, okay.
Very unfortunate.
We'll hold out hope that for some swindle, some stalemate, some fortress.
Yeah. Trust
But-
with bishop versus queen. There's actually an I don't know if you know this, but there is a rook pawn king fortress, and that's the
Ooh.
only fortress that you have against the queen.
All
Every
right, this
other
game is ended.
position is lost against
Yeah.
a queen.
Yeah,
this is-
including
this
this
is-
one. This is where this game has come to an end.
This was a pity.
So very, very sad for the archbishops. So we've lost. How many did we lose this round? We won 1. We lost 2. So that puts
It's
them.
2.5 to 1.5.
Yeah, we started
I
2.5,
believe.
1.5 in their favor, and now I think
Right.
they're gaining even more. Things are slipping away. We need a very strong round 3 and
So-
4 here.
It's currently 5 to 3.
5 to 3. First to 8.5
on total
wins.
games.
Okay.
First 8.5 wins, correct.
All right.
Yeah.
So they could.
So
The
that's a
other
little
team could
funny.
theoretically clinch. The Tigers here could theoretically clinch in the next round, although that would be kind of preposterous. But maybe we're just a second half team. I know Mike Cummer, when he puts together the
Exactly.
teams, he likes to make it a little bit of drama. He's a big football fan. Maybe
Yeah.
he's setting us up. He watched the Super Bowl. He saw the Chiefs come back. He's like, you know what? Let's set up our own little comeback. We'll take
He's
it from
making
there.
it exciting.
Absolutely. And with that, we will be back with some exciting coverage of round 3. We're going to head into just another break here. But stay with us because it's only going to get more exciting from here.
Of calculation, easily dominated his rivals, winning game after game. The opposition has never been as heated, as fierce in both elite chess tournaments in the world.
In competitive chess, the weight of a win, draw, or loss is all on one's shoulders. It's easy to feel alone. Those lonely days are over. The Pro Chess League is back. Once again, in chess, teammates matter.
Look at Farm celebrating. It is official. The Armenia Eagles are the champions.
Welcome back, PCL. A unique collection of teams, each with their own personality of different colors, shapes, and sizes. There are gnomes and knights, chess bras and bishops, and whatever the heck this is. The PCL is the only place where the best players in the world risk their fate alongside content creators and players from different levels, ages, and perspectives.
Oh my god! Oh my god! How did that? You see Wesley's face?
Entering its 5th season, 16 teams will reboot the PCL legacy with a new format and new schedule. Only one team can be crowned the next PCL champion.
The St. Louis Archbishops bring the title back to the chess capital of the world there.
Hey, there's no I in chess. That said, there's no I in team either. My friends, it's the 2023 Pro Chess League. Which team can rise above the rest? They won't be able to do it alone.
This has been a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. Any reproduction or distribution of this content without the express written consent of the St. Louis Chess Club is prohibited.
In competitive chess, the weight of a win, draw, or loss is all on one's shoulders. It's easy to feel alone. Those lonely days are over. The Pro Chess League is back. Once again, in chess, teammates matter.
Look at Farm celebrating. It is official. The Armenia Eagles are the champions.
Welcome back, PCL. A unique collection of teams, each with their own personality of different colors, shapes, and sizes. There are gnomes and knights, chess bras and bishops, and whatever the heck this is. The PCL is the only place where the best players in the world risk their fate alongside content creators and players from different levels, ages, and perspectives.
Oh my god! Oh my gosh! How did that? You see Wesley's face?
Entering its 5th season, 16 teams will reboot the PCL legacy with a new format and new schedule. Only one team can be crowned the next PCL champion.
The St. Louis Archbishops bring the title back to the chess capital of the world there.
Hey, there's no I in chess. That said, there's no I in team either. My friends, it's the 2023 Pro Chess League. Which team can rise above the rest? They won't be able to do it alone.
That was an amazing piece of calculation. He easily dominated his rival, winning game after game. The opposition has never been as heated, as fierce in most elite chess tournaments in the world.
In competitive chess, the weight of a win, draw, or loss is all on one's shoulders. It's easy to feel alone. Those lonely days are over. The Pro Chess League is back. Once again,
And you can see here the results from round 2. We are covering the St. Louis Archbishops going up against the Shanghai Tigers. You can see in the final round, the second round that we just witnessed, Dominguez Perez has now made a draw with Zhu Li. Benjamin Bach was able to score our first win for the team against Liu Yiping. Nikolas Theodorou was unlucky against Wei Yi, and Alice Lee was unable to. She went from losing to winning to losing against Wenjun. A lot was possible there, but unfortunately, it does result in a 5-3 lead for the Tigers. I am, of course, joined with Nemo, who is our captain on our team and has been helping us with our coverage of the event. Nemo, are we going to bounce back in round 3? What's going to happen?
I mean, at this point, we have lost 2 matches, and as far as I have been told, the score itself doesn't matter. So even though we are down 2 points technically, we just have to win the next 2 matches, and that can be totally doable.
Yeah, definitely.
I have faith in us. I think there's a lot of chances here. We've got this game against between Dominguez and Wenjun. At some point today, Dominguez, not that draws are not good for us, but draws are not contributing to the scoreboard just yet. So he might step it up. It's still early for him as well, and this might just be his warm-up game. And we can actually go into this game.
Yeah, let's jump into it. So Dominguez here has the black pieces going up against Wenjun. So far, only 2 draws from our highest-rated player. Let's see what he's able to come up with. Is he just going to remain strictly solid with the black pieces, go for some sort of Ragozin with queen to a4? And we'll see the exact line that he chooses. So again, this is known to be a very solid line. D takes c4. This is all like kind of main line theory. I'm actually a little bit concerned because I know there's a lot of draw lines in these. But we see pawn to e5. Usually this is how you try to equalize with the black pieces. f4 is played at some moment. White is able to secure the 2 bishops, and this is actually where we are. The game is just starting to get interesting. So in a dream world for white, you're able to get castled, and eventually you're able to move all these things, but it is black to move, and hopefully he's able to come up with something good and interesting to keep the game going from this position. What are your thoughts on the opening choice here by Dominguez?
I think the opening itself is very safe, which, playing as black, it's the correct way to go. And at the same time, you're keeping a couple of opportunities open for yourself when you're entering this kind of middle game. However, I am a little concerned about pawn to g6 in this position where white's light squared bishops are, just aimed right at black's king.
Again, wait,
yeah,
this is
I'm just a little concerned about this.
The Tigers have figured out the recipe for success. Just point your bishops at the king, and it's been working out really well for him so far.
Pair bishops are so strong. Yeah, pair bishops are just so strong. It's a very classic idea in chess. I don't see why it wouldn't work otherwise. In this case, I actually would like Dominguez to be drawing the game. We might even call him Dominguez. It would be good for him to draw this game. I already don't like black's position very much, so I don't actually know if viewers see the board. Do they see the board?
Yes, they should be seeing the board. Okay. And I think what we're hoping for here as black is that, you're hoping to be able to conquer this e4 square, it looks like. Maybe he's trying to play with bishop to f5. This rook can come to e8. Maybe he can get some sort of pressure, and eventually this e-pawn becomes weak. But I think the question then becomes, does white have time to just play e4 now, or do you need to prioritize castling? But we will see, I guess, exactly what they come up with. Because there's also the chance that you're able to play here and at some point get castled and just start steamrolling down the board. With some sort of devastating attack. So it's going to come down to a few tempi here.
It's going to be an interesting game for sure. I'm really curious as to how Wenjun continues this game. She might be feeling still a little bit shaky. Last game where she was, completely winning, but did give Alice Lee a chance. So that does mean her tactics might not be entirely all the way up there. I'm sure it's evening for her. Might not be entirely all the way up there. And this
that is true. They are playing on the opposite side of the world. So for us, it's very early in the morning, but for them, maybe they're getting tired. You'd think that would give us an advantage. I don't know how many of our players are, morning, birds. If you're a night owl, are you a morning bird?
I personally prefer playing chess way late during the day. If I could play chess at 2 a.m. against everybody else, that'd probably be my winning strategy. but unfortunately, they do not host chess tournaments past 3 p.m. Apparently, the standard last round time, well, at least in Europe, is 3 p.m. And somebody in my chat was actually saying G6 seems strange to my amateur eye.
Yeah.
And you have to realize that when you are a grandmaster, you don't really see things the same way that other people do. Dominguez in this position is playing G6 because he is confident that there is going to be no threats along the G file. The H8 to A1 diagonal for now, and really wanted to put out the F5, the bishop to F5, as Jonathan has said. And in this case, you know, you can always just defend your B7 pawn and nothing is going to happen on the dark squares. At least for now.
Yeah.
That's the key word. You just don't know later what might happen.
So positionally, this is a small accomplishment here for black. I like it. We got the E4 square, meaning this E3 pawn might be, you know, frozen in a target in the future. Now we see him actually giving up a pawn. The queen went to B3, which prevents us from ever, you know, putting a rook on E8. It also attacks this pawn. But here, he's just willing to give up this B pawn. So I guess the idea is if you're taking, you're going to be grabbing this guy and trying to end up with a lot of compensation. And you know what? Maybe it's right. Maybe you're able to go here and put the bishop on E4, and this is the kind of thing that he's hoping to get into. And something like that actually might turn out really well for him. But it's hard to say.
And I did want to say that all of the games have now started. Don't forget we're doing a staggered start, so you can go to the events page really quick.
I'm hitting the button.
And
our producer's walking
hitting
around.
the
Don't
button,
worry about
pull
it.
up all the boards.
Don't worry about it. Let's just show the people what's going on. It's all right.
Yes. So we've got Wei Yi paired up against Benjamin Bach, which is going to be a really exciting
Wonderful.
match.
So Benjamin Bach has the black pieces here. We can go ahead and jump into this game. Going up against Wei Yi, not easy. Wait a minute. Might we get a gambit? No. Had the potential for a Scotch gambit. No, we're just going to play the center game, which is also kind of a rare opening that you don't see too often. Bishop to D4.
I feel like you are so close to getting gambits in a lot of Grandmaster games, but then everybody at the very last second is like, no, I'm not going to staff for gambit. No, I'm not going to center gambit. Like, you get super baited because you just know if you're playing a blitz or rapid game and somebody plays an opening like that, you know that C3 move is happening next. There's no queen takes D4. There's C3, you give out the B2 pawn, you play bishop C4, you play queen B3. Like, you know exactly what happens, but at this level, we don't see that because everybody knows theory, presumably.
And look, I am a little bit excited though because we have something we don't usually see. We have an imbalance in the pawn structure, and maybe more importantly, we got castling on opposite sides. Someone might be trying to win this game.
Somebody might be trying to win this game, and honestly, I think Benjamin Bach is that person because it is going to an imbalanced pawn structure for, you know, one of the first times ever. We don't have a symmetrical pawn structure. We're castling on different sides. There's always the opportunity of A6, B5, and B4 hitting white with that, you know, pawn advance, and especially since white already has a hook on A3, that's what we call when the pawn is pushed up on one of the sides of the board, and you can play B5, B4 into it. So a lot of ideas over here.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting to see how black does it. Will it be with A6? Will you start with a rook? Will you just gambit a pawn with B5 at some moment? Just going for it. And then there's also like slow maneuvers to consider. I would assume also black maybe is having on his mind, okay, maybe I can maneuver a knight. It's exactly what he's going for, maneuvering this knight towards the C4 square. And I'd expect, you know, at some point white is going to be trying to set up some sort of defense. Both of these players probably anticipating the attacks coming from one another. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how this one does shake up here. So this is exciting. This is we might get some attacking chess.
We're going to go into an exciting game for sure. And another exciting game might actually be the game between Alice Lee and Xu Yi, who, you know, Alice is bouncing back from a tough loss last round where she was winning for one move. For sure, but winning nonetheless against Wenjun, which is, you know, really impressive, And I really like her position in this situation. They've also castled on opposite sides of the board.
Let's go. We're trying to win, all right? We've been joking. It's time to put our foot to the gas here.
Yeah, for sure. I love F4. I love the fact that the H file is half open. Black's king is very, very slightly weak. I wouldn't go as far as to call it weak because, you know, the white king itself is on a potentially open file next move if black just plays c5, which in this situation they can't because, you know, knight takes d5 is a thing. But
now
all of
maybe
these
you can.
ideas. Yeah, now, you know what? I spoke that into existence. Maybe I do like b takes c3. It's better than queen takes c3 because after queen takes c3, c5 was going to be the move potentially, and you just never know about these kind of positions. So I like b takes c3. You might be like, oh, but the king's even weaker. But do keep in mind, black does not have a dark squared bishop or a bishop at all. So white's king is safe for now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. How does white continue to try to make some sort of inroads in? Will she try to do something directly in the center? Will she try to load up on the H file? Will she try to maneuver this knight closer? I mean, I think it's kind of a difficult situation because you're like, how do you make progress with white? Uh-oh, there's a lot of ideas that are possible. Sometimes it can be difficult to come up with just the right one.
Well, I think the right idea in this position is to just bring your pieces over. So something like knight to f3 makes a lot of sense. Potentially, you know, like doubling your rooks on the H file. You also do want to play knight f3 in order to play knight e5 at some point in case the e3 pawn gets threatened. Just, you know, keeping it sort of solid is honestly not bad here because black's king's not really going anywhere. There's not many places for it to go.
Yeah, and it looks like, I mean, so black is not necessarily trying to even open up the queen side, which was maybe the idea behind c5. Rather, we're going to see a focus on the center. And I think at some moment, black would like to be able to maneuver the other knight all the way into the e4 square. So we could end up in a situation with two very strong knights for either player. But the knight on e4 really will be difficult for white to remove, but that is a long way from happening. Knight to f3 is on the board.
We do have knight to f3. Alice Lee is playing really well.
Absolutely.
She's playing really well.
She's one of the most underrated superstars. She's played here at the chess club quite a few times at this point. And for some reason, everyone's always like, wait, she actually plays really well. Like at some point, the world will take notice and be like, oh, wait, yeah, she's actually a really good player. she's a sleeper for sure.
Yeah, at 13, being 23-20 is quite a feat for sure. Also means, you know, you have a lot more years of chess left in you, which is the most important part for chess.
Remember the name Alice Lee.
Yeah, place your bets now.
How does she look? We've just pulled her up on the screen. How does she look? I can never tell. Is she nervous? Is she just calm? I can never, it's hard to read her body language.
Yeah, I think she's just chilling.
She's just playing.
You know?
She's just playing the game.
Yeah, she's just playing chess. Rook to e4,
Interesting.
and you can see.
I thought the knight was going there. The rook comes in.
Yeah, you can just see the eval bar creeping up.
Trying to double, but yeah, the engine did not like it for some reason. And f takes g5 is played on the board. Are we just tearing up the h file? Wait a minute, what is happening?
Yeah, rook to h5.
She's seen
got
it
the
all.
idea of rook h1, sorry, rook takes g5 is happening. A lot of moves.
Holy cow. Yeah, black probably needs to be very careful now. How do you defend everything all at once? I guess you need to make a counterattack against the e-pawn. And white will decide, are you going to the h-file? Are you going to defend your e-pawn? Are you going to take this g-pawn? A lot of stuff going on here. This is a very tense moment.
It for sure is. I feel like, I mean, this position can't be that difficult for Alice. I have a lot of confidence in her.
Yeah.
Once again, usually younger players enjoy attacking.
Absolutely.
So, you know, rook d to h1 is a very logical move here. You actually don't necessarily want to play rook takes g5. It might look really tempting to go for that free pawn, but there is king to f8. And the king actually ends up running, and you don't really want that in this position because although you're not even up a pawn at this moment. So disregard that. You're not even up a pawn.
And it's actually white that might suffer from a bad structure.
Right. Well, white's going to suffer from a bad structure. There's no reason to go for that. So you do actually just want to play rook d to h1.
Okay, so let's see. Maybe she'll come up with this move?
Yeah. or rook e1. I think either one is pretty
Mhm.
okay.
Protect your pawn, make some counter threats. We'll see. I do want to stay here
Yeah.
just a moment. I think the next couple moves, she takes with a knight. Knight takes
Oh.
g5. So attacking the rook, but
Okay.
basically you're inviting the rook to take so that maybe the queen can sweep in. I don't see, there's no mate or anything, but it looks like, I mean, it looks scary if you're playing with black. Moving the
Yeah,
rook
I
means
mean,
my queen comes
after-
in.
Right, after rook takes e3, there's queen h7, there's king f8. I don't even know what's happening after that. A lot of things.
Yeah, so this is the kind of position that we could be looking for. And, maybe you get here and you go, uh-oh, wait, there was nothing all along, but, you know, it is a bit spooky. So we'll see what black comes up with. I don't know how black does anything else in order to avoid that, because without, you know, sacking in exchange, which seems unlikely.
Yeah,
Excellent, okay.
definitely.
So we got to keep our eyes on this one. We'll keep a look at Alice Lee. There is one game that we haven't looked at yet, and it's the game between Nikolas Theodorou here with the white pieces going up against Lu Yiping. And let's see what this one's all about. This could be our round, though. It could be our round.
We need it to be around.
Looks like a very standard one of these kinds of positions. It's usually slightly better for white, which you know we can take. We do see a pawn sacrifice here, though, at some moments in order to prevent black from ever playing c5. But black says, you know what? I'm my own person. I'll play c5 if I want to. And then after a series of trades, a big,
Yes.
long series of trades, we've arrived at this position where g4 was the move just played. Okay. So everything is, I mean, it feels very similar, but I don't know. Hopefully that black king is feeling a little bit weaker than the white king. This is, It looks...
Yeah, queen d2. I think there's queen to d6. You might want to bring your queen in. Definitely white's slightly better here. There is a symmetrical pawn structure, but I would say white's
Yeah, but
attacking.
black is the one that's pushed them all. And if black isn't checkmating, then you've just pushed all your pawns up the board for no reason. We see queen to b3.
Exactly.
Immediately targeting
Oh.
this e-pawn. Has something caught your eye? Do we need to go to another game?
No, I was just going to say, if I do really like the way that white's approaching this position right now. He's taking it really slow. Black has all of these weak pawns, so one of the things that when your opponent has weak pawns, you have to remember to attack them, right? And that's
Absolutely.
exactly what Nicholas
rook
is doing
d4.
with queen to b3, rook to d4, potentially attacking the g4 pawn.
Just
The
keeping
knight on
an eye
e5
out.
is now a little stuck. He might want to play queen d1, swap, like, you know, the placement of the queen and the rook. So then there's also rook to d6 ideas. A lot of things
there's
happening
so
here.
many potential targets just kind of lurking in this position, whereas white is very solid. So I like our chances here in this game. It might be very holdable for black, but if anybody cracks here, it's got to be black. Queen to c2. Okay, just threatening to come in. Okay. So we're just saying he's fishing, he's trying to get the king to go back.
Yeah. Actually did want to go back to the Alice game for a bit as we
Absolutely.
let Nicholas.
No moves played. Oh no, sorry, there
queen
were some
g6.
moves played. Okay.
Wait, there's a couple of moves played. Rook takes a3. Yes.
Let's see. Yeah, after knight takes g5, we see rook takes e3. This was played. So she gets her queen into the position. We weren't quite finding some mate. She goes all the way back. Uh-oh, watch out for this one. Queen comes in. So now on some check, the king is going to have to start running away. But we see a queen trade. And this is our position that we find ourselves in after f takes g6. Okay.
Yeah, I think this is one of those positions where, once again, anything can still happen. Although the
a
engine
lot of pawns
looks
hanging
exactly
here.
love.
We do have a
Right,
lot of
it's
pawns
exactly-
hanging.
Yeah, we have a lot of content in this game. I mean, although the engine doesn't love white's position anymore, not because black can just take on g3 and stuff like that. That doesn't seem like the best idea. But because rook 8 to e7 potentially trying to swap off the rook
Also,
means
yeah.
that you will be going into an endgame. in
Okay.
which it favors black. So that's our biggest worry as white here. You still want to keep up your initiative. You don't want to swap off pieces and go into the end game.
Yeah, endgames are not going to be good for white here. So how will she keep this rook on the board? Will she be
I
able to?
don't
It's not that
know.
easy.
I don't think she can. I think she has to play rook f1 and just swap it off. But at least the end game is a draw. And for Alice, drawing against somebody who is like, you
Yeah.
know, 200 points higher rated than her is really good as well. So there's no problem there. And if Alice holds, and Nicholas might potentially get a win, and we might actually want to jump around to Benjamin's game. We haven't
Yeah,
tuned
it's been
into
a
his
moment
game,
since we've taken a look. It looks like quite a lot of stuff has happened.
right?
Yep, this was our
That
opposite side castling game.
might want to swap the board really quick
If
as
it doesn't-
well. Not
If it doesn't look
use
right,
the
it's because we
viewers.
did swap the colors. there.
Yes.
But okay, here comes white, g5. Okay, the knight is getting a little stranded. You got to play g6. Wait, excuse me? Ah, okay, so there's an attack on the
Yeah,
bishop and
is,
the queen.
Yeah, the bishop is saying.
Knight to
Yes.
d5, so you have to take that guy because your queen was attacked. Then you see this recapture. Instead of recapturing on e5, the white bishop just drops back. White is trying to push through. Black is trying to go for, you know, a little attack on the a3 square. We got these pawns. These pawns are rolling. They're a bit blockaded. We're seeing a lot of sacrifices. White sacks a pawn in order to get the queen on this diagonal. f6 is played yet again. Not with the idea of ever recapturing that pawn. We're trying to keep this pawn in the way of the queen's alignment here. And we're gonna, wait, what is happening? Where's this king going? Wait, where are you going?
Oh no.
Wait, what happened? What happened just here? Was this, I guess, yeah, I mean, this move is
Oh
annoying.
no, wait.
This nasty queen move. Maybe this was, I don't know where it went wrong.
Wait, how I'm not sure why the a7 pawn was just left there.
Yeah, so it looks like, yeah, this
It's
attack,
from like time trouble. I think
yeah.
it's time trouble, but
something here had to be different. You had to find a way to protect this
Yeah.
pawn. But instead,
oh, so many close games.
no, the queen is coming in. All right.
That's very unfortunate.
So yeah, just hoping for a queen swap, which would make life a little bit better. But these pawns, I mean,
Yeah.
they got so far, but they're easily blockaded by the pieces, and more importantly, this king can get in danger, especially if the queens stay on the board. The queen takes on h7, and then we got bishop takes d1. So yeah, even if white doesn't do anything more than just taking back, like it looks like what is black even doing? All right. Okay. Yeah, we could stay here a second. Try to figure it out. They've entered into that speed portion, so hopefully anything is possible. But now it looks like, excuse me, did we lost the queen?
Yeah.
Oops.
Okay. Well.
Takes. You cannot take back with the king. You got to take with your rook, and then oops, that
Oops.
loses a queen.
Unfortunately,
so,
that
this
will
is-
not be Benjamin Bach's game.
Ah, no, we caught this one at a wrong time. That's another loss for the St. Louis Archbishops. With that being
That's
said,
not
Lenny,
great.
we didn't take a huge look at the Dominguez game, but okay, we can run. We'll super speed run back through this. And this one, we had the black pieces as well. This game ended in a draw. We saw up to about here. We did think that it was around equal, and it turns out the players agreed. Another opposite colored bishop. This is about as drawn as it gets. A little bit of mild hope here for black. But this game eventually petered out. Nobody was able to make any progress. Here's the ultra speed run. There you go.
I
So-
feel like I'm going to we might need to start nicknaming Dominguez Dominguez.
Dominguez. He might not even mind it that much.
He might
like,
not
yeah,
even
I'm
mind it that-
solid.
Well, you know how Anish Giri always draws, and that's
Yeah.
like his meme. I feel like Dominguez is very close to that as well. In fact, even more so than Anish Giri. His games have been super solid. It's been absolutely equal all the way through.
Yeah, I think he's probably very
is
proud
nice.
of his solid style. We turn now to our game against Nikolas Theodorou. This one, black looked like somehow at some point here maybe outplayed us again. This is looking bad for the team. You really pepped me up though. You gave this little team pep talk, captain style, and I was getting excited about this round. What's happening?
Right. I don't actually know. I mean, it feels like we have all of the players. It feels like the games were going really well. It just feels like on the execution level, a
Yeah.
couple of things are missing. And also, Dominguez drawing, well, up 200 points is not
Yeah.
helping the rest of the team necessarily. But I still have a lot of faith. This is, once again, only the first round. So if you lose 3 games, you're out. You have to win. Sorry, not. You have to win 3 matches in order to stay in the league. If you lose 3 matches, you're out of the league.
Absolutely. So we're really looking for White to somehow be able to hold this. We still have a chance in this match, but it's by the game it seems to be slipping away. But it's a tale of just a lot of missed chances. So I'm hoping Mike Kummer, when he has the team meeting, he yells at some of these guys and lets them know we got to win when we have these kinds of positions.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I have to tell you that Alice Lee
Oh, don't tell me.
is also losing.
No, say it's not true. What happened, Alice?
No, yeah,
Okay, this pawn was
she has
captured.
not got into a good position, sadly.
Oh no. Yeah, it looks like the kind of position where if you didn't actually end up with the checkmate, you might have ended up in the worst endgame, and maybe that's happened.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, and that has sadly happened.
all right,
You
so we
just
can
have
stay
to be
here with
able
this
to
game.
win. Yes.
All right, come,
Nikolas.
Alice, come on though. I still believe. I said nice things about her. I hope that we can't let this,
Is there going to be a 4th round after?
Yeah, so no matter what, I think you do play every single round. So even if they've technically won.
Got it.
So but we still got some hope here in Alice. You never know. All right, these tricky nights, you never know. But yeah, so just to kind of recap this round, it was Dominguez with another draw. Theodorou had a draw. Bach lost to Wei Yi. And now the last game going on is this game with Alice, where we're also in a little bit of trouble. We're going to have to, win out. It's going to have to be a clean sweep in the last round. I haven't run the math on it, but I'm feeling like we need to win everything from here. All right, this looks bad. Your knight and rook are attacked.
It's looking a little rough. I can't believe she's playing all the way to the end.
She always does. I'm pretty sure. No.
Oh, she does?
Come on, Alice. You're making me look bad. She's just resigned here.
I don't mind at all. Like I said, it's good to always play until the end, especially in online games. You just never know what might happen. Now I have a lot of respect for that. I was just saying,
she actually is one too in these. She comes to a lot of the junior championships, the U.S. Women's Championships, these kinds of big events, and she is always playing to the very, very bitter end. And people are like, "Wait, why is she still playing? It's been over. It's mate and one." Like, no, she just plays all the way to the end, especially in these long ones.
Okay.
But I guess even this position was too much. She's decided to throw in the towel here, which makes a little bit of sense. So. If we are to win this, I have been told that we actually do need to sweep in the final round. So I don't know if you believe in miracles, but we will see if it happens in round 4. We are going to take a quick break here. Nemo, do you have any words for the team before we head into the break?
Honestly, we just have to play good chess. That's it. That's the best that we can do. I just want to see some really good games. We've had a lot of great games today. Some beautiful tactics. Some, really interesting games. But unfortunately, the score is just not there, and we just need to score.
All right, and if you believe in comebacks, make sure you come back for round 4. We'll be with you in just a moment. Welcome back to St. Louis, where we are eagerly getting ready for the fourth and final round of the first week of the Pro Chess League. We are doing coverage for the St. Louis Archbishops, who are in a bit of a dire spot. Nemo, we need to win every single game. A draw will not cut it anymore. Do we have any chance of clinching this match as we go into the last round?
Honestly, I feel like trying to say that we're going to get a 4-0 is going to be a little bit, complicated. But I have faith that we will at least be able to get a few points. I just want to finish strong. I want the team to feel like we have a chance in all of our upcoming matches. I mean, for a first round opponent, this was just like really strong team. So not much to be done about that. We're trying our best, and all things otherwise, whatever happens, and there's still 4 more chances technically to make it into the playoffs.
Absolutely, and we're going to have to hope for the best here. We can get a little reminder of what just happened in round 3. You guys were able to see. We don't even want to talk about it anymore, okay? When you're in the fourth quarter, you can't worry about what happened in the rest of the game. You just got to show up and try your best, and hopefully that is what we're going to see here. So we are waiting for the first game to actually start for the round, but I believe we have it, and we're going to be able to catch this one pretty early, the first game that we have, and this is where all of the All-Stars will be playing. We got Leinier Dominguez going up against Wei Yi in the final round. Dominguez has the white pieces, which is great. Benjamin Bach will be going up against Wenjun. This is another Benjamin Bach must win to keep us in contention. Additionally, we will also be looking forward to seeing the game between Yi Zhu and Nikolas Theodorou. Nikolas will be needing to win with black. He's had some chances in this tournament. He's maybe the one that's been playing the most for the win, so hopefully we can count on him today. And our final match that we will be looking forward to is Yiping Liu versus Alice Lee. Can Alice come through with the black pieces? Well, let's start it off with board 1. Let's get straight to our game with Dominguez. He has yet to win today. He's been very solid. He's been making lots of draws. You know what? Usually that cuts it, but this round, it's not going to get it done. He's going up against Wei Yi, and this game kicked off with e4, e5, knight f3, knight to c6, and we get a Rui Lopez. Please do not play the Berlin. Please play d3 and just do anything to try to keep this game alive.
I like the fact that you also don't like the Berlin. The Berlin definitely has to be my biggest grievance in Spanish. Spanish was such a fantastic opening, minus the Berlin.
Look, I get it, but a draw here is not going to cut it. There's no time for these things. Bishop g5 actually strikes me as a bit odd, and I think maybe he is just trying to play something not like too off the wall, but I mean, this strikes me as not necessarily like, this looks like a beginner type of move, getting the bishop out before you move the knight, but maybe he's just goading. He's trying to get a different kind of position. We'll see if he's
definitely slightly offbeat. I'm sure b5 is a line here, and I actually remember playing as white into a line with b5, and I didn't really like the positions, but I'm not entirely sure what Dominguez is looking for here. Once again, Dominguez is very, very familiar with openings. He's been a second for a lot of really strong grandmasters. He was a second for Fabiano Caruana during I believe it was the 2018 World Championship match. So he's familiar with these kind of positions.
Absolutely.
I tend to trust his opening prep.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Do you think, I mean, in an event like this, though, I often wonder, are we getting the best? Is he saving his good stuff for the real tournaments? And he's like, okay, here's just some like off-ball line. I'll just play like bishop g5, and if you play h6, I'll drop back, and we'll just play some sort of different position. I'm not sure if we get to see the absolute best stuff in a tournament like this, but sometimes the odd stuff is a lot more fun to watch.
For sure. And I think we've all seen a million Berlins. I think we've all seen a million of the same, Spanish, whichever lines, the Breyers or the Marshalls. It's always nice to see something a little bit offbeat. It's always great to just.
And this looks a lot more familiar, like an average. This is like you're just at the chess club. You're just right here at the club. Somebody's playing this right here. We're just maneuvering the pieces, playing a game of chess. We'll see how some of the top players in the world are able to handle it. So we saw h6, bishop to h4. Now the bishop is dropped all the way back to a6. Just making sure at some point white will be trying to play d4, not necessarily here with the e4 hanging, but black is just getting the bishop out of the way, not committing to castling. I think white is waiting, like, please show me that you're going to castle. And black says, nah, let's just wait a little bit. Let's see what you're going to do first. And there might be a little bit of cat and mouse going on in this game. I do think I have some of the other games here, but just a reminder, we do need a win on every single board. So hopefully we come back and we see something good. Now this is Benjamin Bach going up against Wenjun. We have the white pieces here, a potential for a Catalan, but instead we're getting one of these like reverse Benoni kind of positions. You know what? Not a bad way to try to play for a win. We get b4, not necessarily sacrificing a pawn because in some lines the e-pawn would be hanging. So let's see exactly what happens. Well, here we might be playing a gambit? I guess not, because if bishop takes back, there's always the rook taking on the e5 square. And yeah, this okay. This looks like an interesting and potentially promising way to continue. This could be a good one. If you need to try to win, you know what? I think we got a good opening here. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think this position is basically, it looks a lot like a Benoni somehow for white, but obviously with reverse colors. I do like this position a lot for white. I think the e5 pawn is going to be super weak, like you mentioned. And also the e4 square might potentially be a really strong output.
So black has a solution of her own. Oh, it's going to be weak, is it? Okay, I push e4. Now what do you say? Wow.
I would just say I'm going to play rook to b1.
Rook to b1
after
with your knight hanging.
Defending. Yeah, but I'm defending my b4 knight. So if he takes f3, then I'll just take on e8. And then I can take on f3 with my bishop. And then after that, there will be just simply a weak d4 pawn that black has. And I don't mind playing this position at all with the white pieces.
Holy cow. All right, wait, we could be up to something good then if we can find a move like rook to b1.
Absolutely. I mean, even if you don't play rook b1, knight to c2, I think preserving the other knight is much more important. Because once again, anytime he plays e takes f3, you're winning the pawn, right? So winning the pawn back, technically. So that's totally fine.
Wow. Okay, so we have got some moves. I think your move was chosen, knight to c2. And after takes, we saw the rook trade first, followed by bishop takes f3. Bishop to c5, protecting the pawn, is now followed up with rook to b1. And this looks phenomenal.
I like Benjamin's position. I have confidence in him. He can definitely play a position like this for a win, at least push it for a win. So it's looking good. It's a good start so far.
Wonderful. So we'll definitely come back and take a look at this. We'll see if Benjamin Bach can somehow pull this one out. We also need a win on this board. With the black pieces, we have Nikolas Theodorou. He is going up against Zhu Yi. And they have a Sicilian. Sicilian is a good go-to if you got to win. All right. This is probably some theory. b4. Wait, what is white trying to win? Oh, this is some funky stuff. Here we go. This is what we like to see if we need a win. Let's see, b5 played, shutting the knight out. Maybe we can make use at some point of this c4 square, but maybe white is trying to break through. f5. All right. f5 was the last move played, potentially trying to get some action on this f-file. This could be a dangerous attack. What do you think?
Indeed. I honestly like this. Everybody knows they have to play for a win, so I respect the fact that everyone is going for the win. f5 is great. If you have e takes f5, you obviously have rook takes f5, and then you can bring your rook over, and white would probably not do that. So white does have to answer in this position. I'm not really sure what white's going to do. F takes e4 is a very real threat next move.
Yeah, so something like this. I mean, this is just fantastic for us. Yeah, what do you even do if you have white? It's a hard question.
I'm really not sure.
I like black. If I don't know what to do with white, it means I like black. So, I mean, a miracle? Oh, it could be.
A miracle. That's what we're looking for. Exactly, a miracle.
And we do have one more game that we would also need to keep our eyes on. And this is the game with Alice Lee. So she has the black pieces going up against Lu Yiping, also a Sicilian, also a Rosalimo, but a little bit of a different variation. Perhaps this is a little bit more traditional, okay? All right, we get kind of a typical structure for this. White is trying to trade off the dark squared bishops coming into these squares. You know, it's a very solid approach, but sometimes, I don't know if this is the best way to play for a win, but you know what? I trust in Alice. I think Alice, she knows what she's up to. What do you think?
I agree with you. I feel like Alice hasn't had the best event thus far. For sure, it's been only 3 games for her, but she probably really, really, really wants that win. So she's going to be looking for it in this game, or a draw at the very least. Position is completely equal. I actually like her pawn structure, even though she has double pawns. She has absolute control over the center. So,
yeah, definitely very
you
solid.
know,
And you know what? We're gonna get a nice long game.
yeah.
Let's. Which game has your interest the most? Maybe we can pop just straight back to that Dominguez game. See, has anything
Right.
majorly exciting happened? So we saw it was this line with bishop to g5, and now let's see what happened. After bishop to d7, castles, queen to e7, b4 played. Now g5. Maybe some indication that black is not going to be castling on the king's side. Black waits for white to castle, and then maybe I'll tell you where I'm castling. Maybe I'm not going to be castling. Okay, so h5, h4 is played, g4 played. Now comes knight to e1, d5, knight to c2. Any thoughts on this one? Ooh, opposite side castling.
I'm not too sure how I feel about this opposite side castling. At the moment, black's pawns are completely fixed. There's no way for the pawns to be pushing, for black's pawns to continue pushing up. So in this case, I don't think, opposite side castling makes that much sense for Wei Yi, but I could be wrong. Maybe he's looking at, as long as white doesn't play something like e takes d5 and lose control of the f5 square, there's no way for the black pawn to really push up. So it's just a very dynamic game, and Wei Yi is just one of those players that absolutely enjoys attacking chess, and I think it's going to show in this game, which forces Dominguez to actually answer. So we might not get a draw this game. I'm kind of excited.
I know. That's all we need. We need no draws. Draws are no help whatsoever in the match.
Right.
score.
We just need 4 wins.
But it does look. I mean, at some point though, this is. You mentioned hooks earlier. I mean, we have this hook here that can be used potentially in the very near future. So we'll keep our eyes on this one. Come on, Dominguez. You got to come through for us. So let's head back to the Ben Bach game. This one looked good. I just quickly saw the eval bar get out of control wild. So this, we saw up to here. We saw this move, and now this bishop has come out. We just grabbed that pawn. Thank you very much. Rook to b8. Attack the rook. Wait, this is going to swell. Look at this.
Oh, okay. It's almost a free queen, but it almost doesn't matter because after bishop c8, all of black's pieces, all of Wenjun's pieces are going to be stuck on the back rank, defending that bishop. So after queen to f3, queen to a8, that light squared bishop is going down. So this will actually be Benjamin Bach's win. I mean, I'm saying it now. But
we're calling it, okay? We're counting the chickens.
Yeah, we're calling it, exactly.
It is nice that after you play this move, there's no real entry for this queen. So the queen's not even coming into e1. The knight, on kind of this weird awkward square, is defending the back rank and is also keeping pressure on this pawn. So it's all just kind of working here. I would expect that we're able to hopefully win this one relatively cleanly. So let's come back. We'll check out what's going on with Benjamin Bach. But so far, that could be an amazing game for us. Okay, this is the Nikolas Theodorou game. We were watching this from the black side. This is the f5 game. We saw up to here with f5, white has come up with bishop to d3. Now came a bishop check, king moved over. Now the file gets opened up. This allows this rook to come on in if it wants to. It decides to come in right away. Queen to h5. Okay, let's just pay attention to our h-pawn. But you know what? Who is going to land the punch?
Well, I do think black's going to land the punch because I think Nikolas can just play h6, and there's not really a real threat from white. So after h6, queen g6.
It is just a bit scary.
Any queen h7, you can just play king f8. Your rook on a8 is protected, and anytime they go queen to h8, you can always play king to f7. So I think black's position is totally fine here. It's just a matter of, I don't know if you want to play rook a f8 here. I'm not entirely sure. But in the game, it looks like after h6, white played b5.
Okay, so let's hop back to the game here. h6 played b5. All right. Very interesting, trying to break stuff open on the queen side here. Let's just ignore that knight's hanging. Hey, let's bring this rook into the f8. Potentially setting up some mating threats here on the back rank. The bishop is protected by the queen. So how does white defend against the threat of rook to f1?
Yeah. And after rook to f8, I don't really know what white's going to play. 93, perhaps?
93,
Probably 93.
I guess, the bishop's hanging, but maybe that's
right.
a non-essential bishop. Our knight is also hanging.
Can you play rook 4 to a1, rook 8 to a1? Is that a move instead of knight to e3?
Instead of knight to e3, can we just simply bring our rook back in order to defend the back rank?
Yeah.
It certainly appears so. I'm imagining that we have some way to move our knight out, but yeah, I mean, I don't know why this doesn't hold. Man, black is so close. I'm just like I just need like one more little piece or one more little way to kind of break into this position for black. But yeah, maybe we will see this. Let's see what happens in the game. In the game, we did have a move, and it was knight to e3. Okay, keeping control of the f1 square, preventing the back rank mate. And now, I mean, it feels like black is right there if you can just find a good move here. And the knight is attacked. I figure you're not taking back this pawn, although maybe you can. I think it's all about the piece activity, so I'm imagining the knight just coming closer, keeping an eye on
maybe just knight to e5, yeah.
Keep an eye on some of these important squares. Don't let the queen come in. Open up these bishops on each other. We'll see what he comes up with. This is kind of a critical moment. Again, we need everybody to win, but if Bach is doing well, if Theodorou is doing well, you know, Dominguez got an opposite side castling. Alice is keeping it solid. She wants to be the all-star at the very end, playing a super solid game. You know? Don't tell me it's not possible.
Certainly.
If
definitely anything is possible here.
This is how we like to do it here in St. Louis. You know, we like it to come down to the fourth quarter and then win with a big Hail Mary.
If we win all 4 games at once, that would be pretty insane. That must be a first. I don't think any team has just completely swept in a round.
Look, we don't want to just win the championship. We want to break all the records, okay? Biggest fourth quarter comeback.
Everybody's still warming up here. So, you know, a lot of opportunities. Queen to G6.
So because you didn't put your knight here and stop me, I'm coming into G6. You need to be a little bit cautious about this check now.
Wait, is that not free rook?
Maybe. The rook might be hanging.
Yeah, I think that's just
because
I think that's just a free
check.
rook, no?
I mean, you're worried about some check here. I don't know if it's
right because I mean, if you play bishop to G6, probably afraid of king to E7, and then there's all of a sudden there's knight to D5.
But maybe we just run away. Maybe we can just take that
queen
rook.
to G7. Queen to G7, I'm not too scared about. I was more scared of knight to D5 after king E7 because it's a free
knight D5. Wait.
Yes.
But wait. But the back. Wait,
but you don't have back rank checkmate because the bishop is undefended.
So we would have to take it this way.
You have to play, yeah.
And we're threatening a back ranky, but wait, this is scary. Or it's at least complicated. You got to figure all this out, but we would be threatening this here.
Yeah, white actually doesn't really have a defense. So you can play, if white plays bishop D3. So first of all, you can't play anything like G4. G4 doesn't really matter because you have like knight to D4, right, so like checkmate and stuff.
Yeah, so we want to just take this. Is there anything else you're worried about here?
No, I think the critical line is,
did you mention?
Well, I did not mention knight G4, but I don't think knight G4 is a very realistic move to play. I feel like much more logical is bishop G6, knight D5. But I guess I shouldn't say that. I mean, Shi is a grandmaster. He's 2,500.
Right,
I'm sure he's playing objective best moves.
Knight to E5 is what was played. Okay, protecting this G6 square at last. So now when the king comes to F7, you're not worried about any checks on G6, and everything is kind of stabilized. Also, you know, a lot of danger could happen here if this is capturing. Now comes knight to G4. We see the quick capture. So I'm imagining white's idea was to do something now on the G6 square before recapturing this knight. But we'll see what happens here. Looking for, I mean, white's looking for something.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what white is looking for because I think this is just very, very winning.
At some moment when this bishop is gone, you're also looking at these kinds of checkmating threats by black. All of these things would be well protected.
Yeah, for sure. And if you play something like b takes G4, once again, the rook is still hanging. And without the knight going to D5, it's even clearer than before.
Wow, let's go. Nikolas Theodorou. Getting it done.
Absolutely. I'm really happy about that.
All
Let's go back to
When he
Benjamin's
wins-
game and see.
When he wins, we're coming back. But let's go see how
Right.
Benjamin Bach is doing.
Okay, Benjamin is also winning.
Yeah, we saw up to here. We saw this. Queen F3 was played. There's all of your moves, all of your analysis. It came true. So he's able to
Yes.
win pieces. Okay, there's still a little issue of this D4 pawn, you know. But we'll see. He's able to just push this pawn. The queen is just, for white, is on such a perfect diagonal. The pieces
Yeah.
are so well harmonized here for white. Oh, it makes a queen just to win a knight at least.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful,
Mhm,
beautiful. And oh no, it looks
I
like this
love
game
it.
did end. I was like, this should end any minute. It looks like it did
Okay,
end.
yeah, he did.
There's
he
a
did.
win.
Okay, there's a win. We only need. Oh, unfortunately, Dominguez has lost against Wei Yi.
No.
Oh, wow. How did? Wait, what happened there? Did you see that rook on
No.
H1?
No, I didn't see anything. What happened? Okay, so we got to this position. Somehow black is. The queen just came in and took a pawn.
Yeah,
we
that
were
was
like,
just-
look how solid this is. Wow,
Okay.
B5, moving the pieces on your king side, not so easy to do. But if you come in and you take a pawn, oh no.
Yeah, just a free pawn.
What?
Oh, that's how the
What?
rook ended up on
What?
H1.
What? What? Holy cow.
That's pretty crazy.
So if you take, you're taking back with the queen, and then
Yes.
it's not so easy, because if you try to keep your bishop alive, I think just G3 or what?
Yeah, G3, bishop takes G3, queen takes G3 because it's pinned.
Oh,
On F2.
Oh, it's so much pain. So because of that, in the game, I had to put this sad bishop back. Oh no. Yeah, what a monster bishop, this super secret sniper bishop. And after knight d4, that's just where the game ended. Oh no. And so
I
Dominguez
feel like
went
this is-
down.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those positions where you ask people, how did the rook end up on H1?
Yeah, like what the heck?
Yeah, how did the rook even end up on H1? Very interesting final position, but very unfortunate result
I
for
mean-
Dominguez, who has
I
been.
mean, game of the day, but not for our team. So, I mean, a huge
Yeah, game of
congrats
the day,
to
not
Wei
for our
Yi.
team.
Wei Yi playing this
Yes.
insane game. Benjamin Bach did officially win his game. Okay, we saw the last move in that one. We will not be forcing a playoff here. Nikolas Theodorou was also able to win. We saw this point. Let's flip the board. We were seeing this from black. This one officially finished after taking. We saw this check. Bishop comes all the way back. Knight takes. And now the position is starting to stabilize. And here is where the game ended. The queen is attacked. And I suppose there's no way, you don't have time to recapture because there's stuff going on the back rank. This check doesn't really do anything because we're just recapturing. And so you just resigned. So congrats to Nikolas Theodorou doing what he needed to do. Also some sad news on the last board. So I think in the end, there were all decisive results, which is exactly what we were looking for. We saw this game, Alice Lee had the
Unfortunately, we
black
needed a
pieces.
couple more in our favor.
But yeah, well, it wasn't a miracle, but it was an interesting way. She was going for it. Look, she was coming in. She was going for mate. She can't make a
absolutely
draw.
was.
She's got to keep playing on. Could have some moment in this game. Maybe she was like, okay, well, I have to keep playing on. And thankfully she did, but it didn't quite go her way. Queen snuck all the way in, and not any way to defend against that. So, okay, not like the greatest start. We showed a lot of effort there in the final quarter, but it wasn't quite meant to be. So the Shanghai Knights, the Shanghai Tigers, will be winning this match. This is their first. If they're able to get to 3, then congrats to them. They're going to guarantee a playoff. So we need to bounce back in the next week. From here, Nemo, what are your kind of thoughts overall on the day?
Honestly, I think losing, 6-10 is a little unfortunate. I feel like a lot of the games we could have had a much better grasp on. I do think that with the board 1 draws, it's a little bit tough for the rest of the team to follow up and provide good results because a lot of the players are going to be playing against people much higher rated than them. But other than that, I feel like Dominguez had a very, very solid showing, and he's just getting started. It's just day 1. We still have 4 more matches potentially to go, as long as we don't lose the next 2 in a row, which I don't think will happen. But all of these teams have been really strong. The Shanghai Tigers fielded Wei Yi, some super strong players. They're female players, you know, Wenjun, literally the women's world champion.
Yeah, very
Just
strong
some
team.
really
They got a lot of
yeah.
potential going forward. And hopefully
Strong
we can
players
show
all
some of our
around.
potential going forward. In our next round, it will be sometime between Tuesday and Friday. The matches, they haven't been fully decided yet, but we'll definitely be back, or at least Captain Nemo will definitely be back. Maybe it'll be me, maybe it'll be different people. You never know what you're going to expect, but hopefully next time we're able to get a bigger win. Nemo, it was a real pleasure being able to spend this time analyzing with the games with you. I had a blast, and you know what? It didn't go our way this time, but we'll be back, and hopefully it goes a little bit better in the future.
Yes.
So.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. You've been an absolute pleasure to co-host with. It's been a lot of fun. The games have been insanely interesting.
Yeah.
I think every single player played really well. I think Alice Lee had some great chances. Benjamin and Nicholas both showed up. They performed. Some really strong players here, you know, getting these upsets, getting these wins. So we got good games all around. And next week, I'm sure it'll be even better.
Absolutely. So hopefully everybody stays tuned. Hopefully everybody's following both the channels. We are live on the SDL Chess Club Twitch and YouTube channels. We're also live on the AKA Nemsco Twitch channel. So hopefully thanks to everybody that's been watching. And until next time, we'll see you in St. Louis.
Thank you, guys.
This has been a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. Any reproduction or distribution of this content without the express written consent of the St. Louis Chess Club is prohibited.